Welcome to Watch the Fight Boxing Talk. This video is about Terence Crawford's virtual interview with Brian Custer ahead of his mega fight with Errol Spence on July 29th. In this video, I'll play clips from that interview and give my thoughts at the end of each clip. Fair use? Now let's get into it.
And support the fight, because this is how me and Errol feed our family. We the one that got to go in there and put our lives on the line. And, if anything happened, nobody's there to take care of us. Nobody's there to pick us up. Only thing they there to do is laugh at us. They there to write on the internet, oh, you got knocked out or you got beat up or you this and that. They don't never pick these fighters up. They there for the ride, and then when the ride slows down, they hop off. Or when the ride stop, they hop off, and then they hop on another ride. So, support the fighters, man.
Crawford is talking about the fickle boxing fans that love to run their mouth and talk smack online, and he's absolutely right. I agree with him that boxing fans should spend money on the boxers that they respect and admire or appreciate. Crawford, of all people, definitely knows for a fact that critics love to verbally abuse the boxers. I'm sure he's aware of all the negativity online about him, and he probably sees the videos that people make about him. Boxing is a brutal sport, but boxing fans are more unforgiving than the sport itself. Spence also called for fans to support the fights monetarily in order to motivate top fighters to get the competitive fights. Again, I agree with both Spence and Crawford because the fighters are taking all the risk. Their safety and health is on the line, so we shouldn't hesitate to spend money on the fights we want or the fighters we love. Fans want boxers to put their money where their mouth is, but fans have to do the same to make those things more worthwhile for the boxers.
They all say the same thing. Oh, Crawford ain't fought nobody. So I'm used to it, and I just laugh because there's always an excuse after an L.
Crawford's resume at welterweight does get a lot of criticism, and I'm sure that's tiring and played out for Crawford. Put yourself in his shoes. You'd most likely be tired of hearing that too. We know he didn't get the big names or popular champions, but the guys he fought were still a threat. I don't critique Crawford's resume because I think that any professional boxer that you get into the ring with has the capability and willingness to knock your head off. So any of those dudes could have knocked his head off, and they tried to. So I'm not one to knock Crawford's resume. Plus, he had no control of that.
Before the fight got made, you were always just on some, look, I don't need him. I don't need this fight. I guess frustrated or whatever. But now that the fight is here, can you look back and say, nah, I was wrong. I really did need Errol. I did need this fight. This is the biggest fight in like the past 30 years or something like that.
Well, I wouldn't say Errol is my biggest dance partner, like he said, yes. So being the magnitude of this fight, the stage of this fight, the level, everything, yes, I need it. Everything that's surrounding this fight and that's on the line with this one fight, yes, I needed Errol. But far as career-wise, legacy-wise, I didn't need Errol because I already accomplished so much in the sport of boxing that I can retire right now and be in the Hall of Fame and ride in the sunset and be comfortable with what I've accomplished in the sport of boxing, because there's nothing that I haven't accomplished in the sport of boxing that would hinder me from saying, oh man, dang, I wish I would have did this or I wish I would have did that. I already became undisputed. I already won ESPY award. I already was fighter of the year. I was already multiple world champions in different weight classes. I was already two-time linear fighter in two different weight classes. So, this is, like I said, this is just a cherry on top of my ice cream.
I don't like how the interviewer worded that question. Crawford said that he didn't need Errol for Hall of Fame or for any accolades, but he definitely needed Errol for the money and the respect. And he's definitely right. Without Errol, he is still an accomplished boxer who stayed at the top of the pound-for-pound list, and he made a name for himself. But with Errol, he will get the full respect and peace that he is due, and the satisfaction of having the biggest, most elite boxer on his resume.
How concerned are you about the size difference? I've got one more question after this, but the size difference, there's going to be a lot of conversation about how big Errol usually is, the fact he can still make 147. You were undisputed at 140. How have you kind of managed that and prepared for what that difference might look like on fight night?
I don't worry about it. Listen, when you talk about size, you talk about Jeff Horn. They said Jeff Horn was one of the biggest welterweights other than Spence. When you talk about size, you talk about Sean Porter. You know, me and Sean Porter was in the amateurs together. I was at 132, he was at 165. You know, Benavidez, he was a big welterweight. I don't know, like, I'm always fighting big welterweights, so that's nothing new. I'm always the smaller guy. Even when I was at 140, I was a smaller guy. You know, 35, I was tall, but I was the smaller guy. So being a smaller guy, you know, never made me think, oh man, this guy is too big or no. It's cool. The bigger they is, the harder they fall.
Now, personally, I'm not expecting there to be a size discrepancy on fight night. We know Spence is 1.5 inches taller than Crawford, but aside from height, I have a feeling that they will be very close to the same size. They are closer in size than Goku and Vegeta are to each other, so I don't think it's going to be a noticeable difference, but I guess we'll see on the 29th when they are both rehydrated and full.
You guys have been largely friendly during the promotion when you guys see each other. How far out of the window does that go on fight night, Terence?
Oh, we definitely ain't friends on a fight night. Like that's ludicrous. I was friends with Sean Porter, and you see how that fight went. I was friends with Ray Beltran. You see how that fight went. I was cool with a lot of fighters, you know, respectful to the fighters that's respectful to me, but at the same time, when the bell ring, ain't no friends in the ring. You trying to knock me out, I'm trying to knock you out. You know, one small blow in the wrong spot can end my life. That's how I look at it. So you trying to end my life, we're not friends.
I know Porter ain't like that mention. Porter is tired of getting caught in the crossfire by now. I like that Crawford and Spence kept it respectful towards each other for the most part during the build-up, though. And I don't think we need any more disrespect and trash talk in our community. We need more positive examples of grown black men showing each other respect and still being competitive. I think they will be friends after their saga is complete, but they both have shown that respect and friendship have no place in the ring until the fat lady sings. That's a no-brainer for both of them. They are both too competitive to worry about that stuff when it's wartime. I like Crawford's mentality on one small blow in the wrong spot could end his life. So ain't no friends. And he's absolutely right.
This talk a little bit about if there is a connection between football and fighters and how participating in that sport can help you in the ring.
I just like football because I played football. You know, played basketball. I did all those sports, but the connection to football and basketball is both sports get their brains rattled. So I think that's the only connection, you know, like the aggressiveness, you know, the mentality of going out there and, you know, putting it all on the field, putting it all in the ring. Then at the end of the day, you walk away from the field or the fight with a couple of loose screws.
The screws make you better or make you worse in the long run in terms of ferocity in the ring?
Oh man, it depends on how many screws you get loose.
He's spot on. I think that's a great analogy. Football and fighting are the most competitive contact sports, and the concussions and brain damage are very similar, if not the same, in both sports. The injury in both sports can be very brutal and life-changing.
Just based off of skills, that it doesn't need any verbal mudslinging between y'all.
I think that would be great, and I think it'd be great for the sport of boxing, for the sport of all combat sports, because then it would show a level of respect that doesn't have to be aligned with disrespect to be entertaining. I feel like, a lot of people see Mayweather, a lot of people see Ali, they see Mike Tyson, and they feel as if, all right, man, I got to be this villain, or I got to be like this guy, or I got to be like that guy to sell fights or to sell pay-per-views, and not my skills. But when people start understanding the sport, uh, and they understand that you don't have to talk about somebody's dead people uh, in the grave to get them mad, and then they start talking about your mom, and then they start bringing up personal remarks to what you said to them, and then y'all make it personal just to sell fights. I think it can be a level of playing field where y'all both respect each other enough to, respect each other, but let each other know that come fight night, y'all coming for each other head.
I agree. We can do without all the trash talking unless it's real, actual beef. Then I'm all for it. Talk your smack. I don't even like most of the trash talking nowadays because I can tell a lot of it is fake and corny. I didn't care for the trash talk between Benavidez and Plant or Haney and Lomachenko. Most of the trash talk these days are generic. So leave it to Rowley and Blair Cobbs. They are the only two that get a pass from me for trash talking because even though it isn't genuine, it's at least entertaining and it's natural. That's their personality, their character. These other guys trash talk, it isn't natural. It's fake and it's cringy to me. I actually enjoy Spence and Crawford showing more respect than trash talk because they do their talking in the ring.
Here. I wanted to ask, you've been undisputed before at 140 pounds. Does being undisputed in this weight class mean more just given the history of it? Just, thinking about who's been champion in this weight class throughout history.
I wouldn't say it means more in that sense, but I would say it means more for who I'm becoming undisputed against. When you look at Errol, he's considered top 5 pound for pound on a pound for pound list. He's a fighter that being dominant in his career. He's a fighter that's being considered one of the best opponents that I have faced, if not the best. So there's a lot on this on this pound for pound list that you could say was different with Ndongo. Ndongo, yes, Ndongo had 3 titles, back to back to back. Errol had 3 titles, so we don't consider the IBF, as much as the other 4 titles, but no, the IBO, I would say. We don't consider the IBO title as much as we considered the other 4, but Ndongo, he went to 2 countries and did what he did to those champions, and then dared to be great to come to his 3rd consecutive country and fight me. I felt as if that was big, especially the Ricky Burns fight, then knocking out Troy Noski. But then you look at it and you say, oh, well, Ndongo wasn't nothing, but you go to Errol and then he fought the guys that he fought, and he accomplished what he accomplished, but the magnitude of this fight is on 2 whole totally different levels. So I would say, yes, this undisputed fight is bigger in the sense of what's all on the line for me and what's on the line for him as well.
I think that's valid. If Crawford actually beats Spence and does it convincingly, then he's clearly that guy. Spence is the epitome of welterweight right now, so defeating him for undisputed is the most meaningful thing in Crawford's career by far, without a doubt. I would be shocked, but I'd give him his credit, his props, his respect, his flowers, all the above. I know it's possible, but I just don't think it's likely that he will beat Spence. But I'm looking for a great, challenging fight for both of them. If you pull this off, Crawford, I'd be astonished. Crawford is one of my top favorite fighters. I just don't think Spence loses to Crawford, aside from a puncher's chance.
Niggas hate on us. You hate on it. And I don't understand why you hate on me. Show love, nigga. It don't show nothing. It don't cost nothing to show a nigga. All we doing is getting money. Showing innocent love. Niggas out here don't love me.
With that being said, shout out to Crawford. People need to start putting more respect on his name. I like Crawford and I think he's extremely talented and he has my full respect. This is the only fight so far that I'm picking against Crawford. Other than this one, I normally root for Crawford. I'm not mad if he wins. I'd be happy for him as usual, but I want people to start showing him more respect and appreciating our family for his contributions to the sport of boxing. Keep it balanced and show him just as much love as the hate, if not more. Big up Crawford. I'm looking forward to a spectacular performance from him on the 29th, and may the best man win. Thanks for tuning in. Catch y'all on the next one.
I'm constantly fighting these demons. Stay ready, I know that they scheming. They want my life and my freedom. Silent killer, you know how I treat them. I'm constantly fighting these demons. I know that I won't be defeated. Ain't running cause ain't no retreating. Self-love was all that I needed. I'm constantly fighting these demons. Stay ready, I know that they scheming. They want my life and my freedom. Silent killer, you know how I treat them. Steady fighting like a pugilist. Making moves like a fugitive. Tell he knew I ain't new to this. I don't trust